doing my normal routine, guys. I just realized I gotta take my morning pills. I'm taking this stuff from Japan. It's a special mushroom extract. The benefits of it are unbelievable, but more than anything, the way it activates your immune system is really unique. And so I like taking it on an empty stomach right away. And then we're gonna talk, if people want to, about overcoming depression. Ultimately, it's a tricky one. That's why I thought it'd be good to talk about, because I don't think people understand a lot of times what's causing it and how to solve it. It's another one of these things that I have a lot of experience with, and there is no just silver bullet. You know, there's no, and I will tell you guys, I'm definitely not giving you medical advice, making any medical claims. You guys know that. And I'm not making any claims for or against any product or products, but I'll say first of all, there's a lot of different things that, in my personal opinion, lead to depression, anxiety, all these things that, you know, issues that people have. And right now, I'm cleaning water right now. This is always how I start my day. Why? Well, because there's so much crazy stuff in our water that's something that's going to be one of the first things that you always want to look at. And even if it's not your water causing it, which, by the way, again, there's some crazy stuff in our water, but even if it's not causing it, it's a really good idea to purify your water because of all the other potential things. I would say potential things that it would cause, but if you saw what's in the water, you know that eventually it's going to do something, or it's affecting you in some way. But when it comes to something like depression, and I think that there's multiple factors. Now, you're welcome to ask any questions you want as we go. I'm going to put just a little bit of minerals in the water. I don't do a lot. I do it every once in a while. I put most of my minerals in the smoothie, actually, because it actually works with the fiber. But let's just go ahead and show you how to clean water first of all. That's the first thing. Because I'll tell you what I've seen in water on these lab reports that are kind of shocking and might have a lot to do with our mental health. Now, of course, there's a bunch of chemicals and weird stuff in water, and your average water filter is not going to eliminate everything. That's why I do the carbon distillation. It's like the only way to get everything out of water. What I've seen in water, I'll tell you the top pharmaceuticals. Does anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess what the top 3 pharmaceuticals that are found in water? Anybody? See how well, test yourself a little bit, see how well you know water. Give me 1 second. And I'm obviously going to start immediately making my breakfast and can hang out with you guys a little bit in a hurry. I got some work stuff I got to go do, obviously, but I got to get this breakfast going. I'll tell you another thing good for depression: overcoming all nutritional deficiencies. Your body's got to be running on all cylinders, making all the chemicals it needs. That's obviously going to be a part. Kayla says, "Hi Greg, my pure water distiller boil intake is having issues, really, and I'm having a replacement from the company. I have an RO system. Should I use that with the Hydrofix?" I mean, I would. Yeah, RO systems are good. They're just not the best. Let me grab my nutrients. Hold on. Okay, let's see here. Well, all I gotta say is that is surprising because I've had really good luck, but hopefully they take care of you. I mean, that's the important part, you know, they take care of you when there's issues. Never know what might have caused it, but I'm glad they're taking care of you, Kayla. So that's a good thing. So I'm assuming nobody's guessing what the top pharmaceuticals are found in the water. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you guys. Top pharmaceuticals are women's contraception, antidepressants, and antibiotics. Those are the 3 things that are found in water in high levels. Now think about that. To me, that tells me that there's a lot of people who are on those 3 medications, maybe more than almost anything. Antidepressants, which is crazy because if you've ever looked at the data on that, oh my gosh. People can claim they work all they want, that's fine. Oh, and I didn't even show you what I'm putting in here. I don't know if you guys care, but I just put Power Shake. This is my nutrients in order to, you know, like my multivitamin in food form. This is from a website called ishoppurium.com, P-U-R-I-U-M as in Mary, okay? And if you want a big discount code, they do have one. It's Uprising144K. All right, super high purity. I'm just showing you guys what I do, and I do a lot of homework about what I do. This is ground up turmeric or turmeric, however you want to pronounce it. 100% organic, that's the only ingredient. You're gonna notice that a lot of the ingredients I use are just one ingredient. That's it. You know, that way they don't get mixed with a bunch of other stuff. They're not processed food, yada, 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 yada. Kayla says, heating element is broken. That's weird. And rust in the tank. They said it was a defect. Oh, really? Wow. Well, that's interesting because, yeah, I haven't had such issues. I would also assume maybe the water, but that is being used could potentially, maybe something in there. I don't know, but I'm glad they're taking care of you. Okay, next one, cacao. We're talking about basically the chocolate, but it's just cacao. It's not mixed with sugar. It's not mixed with milk. It's just pure cacao. Good for the brain, actually. It appears to not only be good for the brain, it actually appears to be really good for stem cell production too, and a slew of other benefits. And it tastes like chocolate. Okay, this one's just some minerals that a friend gave me. So I'm just using them up until I start using my normal minerals and nutrients, but it's been good. Okay, this one, matcha. This is amazing. Dramor says, hey, that's so cool. Your live feed showed up while I was scrolling through the shorts. There you go, buddy. It's good to see you, Dramor. Good to see everybody this morning, by the way. Thanks for all the thumbs up. It helps the algorithm if you guys want to support what I'm doing here. But by the way, green tea matcha, organic, but from Japan. I've seen organic stuff from China. When I see the lab reports, I'm quite disappointed. So, you know me, I'm all about the purity, and I think that also helps with people's depression and overcoming those type of things. You've got to get the body running right. Now, that's only part of the story, though. This is from rncstore.com, lab-tested apricot seeds. It's got, you know, good omegas, good fats, and B17. And appears, of course, I'm not making any claims or anything. You can actually go read the scientific reports. It appears that it might potentially have positive effects on cancer. And of course, I always put a lot of anti-cancer ingredients, trying to avoid that little bug as long as I can, because, you know, eventually it seems almost everybody gets it. And it's kind of scary. So I'd always start my smoothie out with all the nutrients. So there we go, right there. Okay, I'll be right back. Now we can get the next ingredient in this concoction. Next ingredient is actually, you should see the epigenetic studies on this. Man, when you think food can't be your medicine, this stuff is medicine in my opinion. We're talking about super greens. The epigenetic studies were quite revealing. In fact, they shocked even the scientists. It was really amazing as far as for quote unquote, appears to be really good for like longevity and your telomeres, which is obviously very positive. We'll see if we'll be able to fit everything in the smoothie today. I need to like not put as much stuff because I can never fit everything in there and then I end up having a problem. And we're doing a vacuum smoothie today. You probably don't even know what that is, most of you, but you'll see in a second what the vacuum ultimately is. But as I was telling you, there's, you know, I think that you always want to start with your water these days. That's how crazy the world is right now. So, okay, meanwhile, I don't normally put this in first, but I'm going to since I'm soaking those. These are walnuts. Walnuts have good omegas, organic, appear also to be anti-cancerous, even potentially anti-parasitic. And they have good omegas and fats, obviously good fibers, and they just taste good. All right. Next one, while those vegetables are getting washed, are organic sun-dried raisins. And you don't have to put these either. They bring a little sweetness. I don't put a lot, but they have natural boron. a natural boron, which would be a really good supplement, which I've shown in my other videos, is really good for regulating hormones. That might really be good, actually. B17 is very bitter. It's found in apple seeds, but if you eat the apple skin with the seed, there is an enzyme that makes the arsenic harmless, says Holly Hobbies. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Yeah, I think it's not the worst idea in the world. And yeah, I just put a little bit of that B17 in there. Why not, right? Actual apricot seeds. Let's get these washed and keep moving forward. Like I said, I'm in a little bit of a rush today, but I can answer your questions if you guys have any. And I don't even know if you guys really care to learn about, you know, overcoming depression and whatnot. Because, and if you are, we can talk about the subject. If not, we can always talk about whatever questions you guys really want to, you know that. I'm just here live with you guys to answer questions and show you what I'm doing for my nutrients. This is something obviously that I created, this whole nutritional smoothie here. And of course a vacuum smoothie too, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna vacuum the oxygen out of the blender and before we blend it. So that way when it's breaking down all the food, it doesn't oxidize as much. I didn't think that, you know, when I first heard about it, I thought this sounds kind of scammy. I'm always very, very skeptical. There's a lot of garbage out there in the world of health. And basically, it turned out to be legit. And I mean, you can actually see the difference. You can taste the difference. And I got to see some lab reports, and you can definitely see that difference on those reports too. So it helps apparently maintain a lot of the nutrients so they don't get oxidized, which is kind of remarkable. Okay, now let's go with some blueberries, more potentially anti-cancerous. And you know, I haven't actually researched this. Somebody can do it, but I just have a feeling the berries are good for depression. I can look that up later. I know what's good for depression is a 20 to 30 minute walk appears to work better than any antidepressant on the market. That's pretty wild. Who would have thought that exercise would have been helpful? Duh, right? Seems so silly. Okay. Moving on. You know what I'm going to do today? These bananas are going bad. Good morning, everyone, says Dremore. Yeah, well, we have like 32 people in here. I don't know how engaged they are, though, because I don't see any questions or thumbs up. If you guys want to do that, that'd be cool. Of course, you don't have to, but hey, you can ask any question you want. We are live. And today, I'm just using clean water today. I'm not using hydrogen water because I'm using my machine for inhalation and it's not making water. The machine I use for water and drinking is downstairs in my room, so I already drank it, of course. I always load up on hydrogen water first because, well, it's kind of a no-brainer. And for depression and for overcoming such things as depression, you want to overcome all those free radicals and get the blood moving and get hydrated and all the good stuff that hydrogen could potentially offer. Now, I don't think I have enough today, but we're just going to go ahead and use what we got. And this is ginger. Ginger has so many crazy benefits. And you know, for depression, I think it's actually a really good idea. Hi, just tuning in, says GC118. Kayla says, do you have any tips for getting the best water when traveling? You know, that's a really hard one. What I personally do, and it's not like the best thing, but it's all we've got. Usually I just try to find distilled water. So I'll just buy distilled water and I'll do that one. There is a water company that takes distilled water and then mineralizes it. And I've seen some of those bottles around. I would probably grab some of those. I know that they're in plastic. I know I don't like plastic. The water sitting in plastic forever, I'm not a fan. Usually what I do is I just try to get to my destination and, you know, just have an adequate amount of water. And then once I get there, then, you know, depending on how long I'm going to be there, I need to get a distiller going. But if I'm going to be a short period of time, then I just have to buy water. That's pretty much what it comes down to. And it kind of sucks. I recently went on a trip And I obviously did not take my hydrogen machine, but now I'm going to be going really far, and I'm already trying to get those ducks in a row, actually, as far as having everything ready, as far as a distiller, my hydrogen machine, because I'm moving. You know, I'm moving halfway around the world, guys, going to Japan, and obviously I have to be very much prepared for that. Okay, and I should be opening up a new channel. I mean, it's already open, but you won't be able to find it. And it's called Happy Japan, and I will be sharing a video in the future, so stay tuned if you want, because that channel is going to be different. I mean, I'll still have this channel, and this one's all about health, though. This is about health and overcoming certain health issues, potentially, right? But the other one's just going to be more about a lot of other subjects in regards to just happiness and the Japanese culture, and maybe even some philosophical talks and just all sorts of stuff. You know, it's going to be very open. There's no rules for the other one. So they're going to be different channels. We'll see how each one goes and see what interests people. And, you know, and I got a bunch of other cool stuff coming up. I will say stay tuned, because it's going to be pretty shocking. I would share it, but the problem is I don't want to share it just in case it doesn't happen. And I feel like that's kind of what happens sometimes. So I'd rather not say anything. But it's something that's looking good. It's exciting. And it's most likely going to happen while I'm in Japan. And when I share it with you guys, it's going to be pretty wild, actually. So, all right, moving on here. Moving on. What are we at here? Oh my God, we're definitely running out of time here, or at least I'm running out of time. Vanessa says, Georgia, the hydrogen machine or water bottles worth it? The Eco Ultimate? Definitely not. So here's the thing: if you can't make hydrogen properly, just don't do it. And when I say don't do it, because of the potential harmful things that it can do. Have you heard of a body health products? Their perfect amino protein products are very good. I was wondering if you have a report of their contaminants or how pure it is. What I can tell you is that almost every single product, these impurities, any of those, that's why I only use, haven't you noticed, I only use the Purium powder, because I mean, here's the report right here. They got a report that they sent because they found contaminants in their products. They're testing them all the time. They're super, super picky. That's why I like that company. All these other companies, I'm not very impressed with what they do. So I just would not use it, especially if it's a protein powder. Patrick Hopkins says, I was hearing Gary Brecka talk about the hydrogen and the hydrogen bath and the water bottle. Yeah, you know, I don't like to say, look, I'm not trying to say anything negative, but it's very clear that Gary Brecka doesn't know what he's talking about at this time. All he knows is a little bit about hydrogen. He's obviously very excited. I totally get it, because hydrogen's amazing. But what he hasn't realized is that it actually matters how you make it. And so those bottles that he's promoting, I wouldn't use one if you paid me. You have to understand, you have to look at the lab reports. You know what? It'd be really great if somebody actually asked them to get a lab report on the membrane, because I've seen the lab reports on these membranes. That's the reason the Japanese, because they're so strict about purity, tested them. What company, says Vanessa? I don't know. Well, I don't know which product you're talking about. So you got to be a little more, you got to clarify, Vanessa, which company you're talking about. But yeah, Gary Brecka he's kind of got it wrong. But I understand. He's new to it. I've been doing this for well over a decade now. And the research and the things that I've learned and the lab reports, and the Japanese have been doing this too. That's what people don't realize. They've been way ahead of the game too. And so, unfortunately, a lot of people are hearing him talk about it. And like I said, they just don't know. They don't know about the metals, plated metals. They don't know about the lab reports of what's in those membranes, which the ones I saw, I'm not making any claims for or against any product or products, the ones I saw, and you got to know what these membranes, like what companies are making them. But I saw the test and it showed positive for something called PFAS, which is what's known as a forever chemical. And if you know anything about forever chemicals, they're nasty. They're kind of darn right scary. So I don't think I want that in my water. So Barbara says, do you know much about making chicken broth, soup, or beef broth? Well, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of videos and stuff people show how to make broth. Yeah, I mean the Japanese are amazing at making broths. Actually, masterful. It takes a really long time to make a really good broth. In fact, that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to in Japan is having some of their ramens, because they have, in my opinion, the best ramen in the world. And you should see how long it takes them to make some broth. It's going to be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I'll be sharing that obviously more on my other channel. I don't know how much food stuff I'll be sharing on this channel, but maybe I could. If you guys really want to see food stuff, I could show you some of the stuff that I'll be eating over there. Yeah, I mean, if it's health food, I'll show it on this channel. But yeah, there's a lot to learn. Unfortunately, I've done everything I can to try to simplify it for everybody. I wish there was a good portable hydrogen bottle, but look, if you're traveling for a week or two, it's not a big deal to go without hydrogen. You know, your body literally, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you load it up in your organs. And so, you know, if you're using it on the regular, you're going to be loaded up, and you don't need to worry too much about trying to, I would say, you know, get it in your body just for like a week. Like, I went off of hydrogen, you know, when I've traveled before, and it's fine. I've known, like, my dad actually was always a good example, because his arthritis, when it went away, he'd go on a vacation for a month and he was fine. Usually his arthritis didn't start coming back until around month 4. That's when he noticed that, you know, if he was not using his hydrogen for a long time or even doing it properly, it would take around 4 months for his symptoms to start coming back. Okay, almost done with this smoothie. And then let me see if you guys have any other questions. I'm sure I'm missing some. Thank you for your work, by the way. Oh, thank you, My Spirit. My Spirit says, how did you find out what impurities are in products? Do you use your own reports? Well, it depends. I have certain connections. Sometimes companies will actually do testing, but they don't want to reveal it to the public. And then they'll just say, well, you know, the contaminants are within certain range and they think it's safe. So they tell you, hey, everything's all good. You know, they don't want their customers getting crazy sick either. But some people's standards are very different than, you know, other people's standards, especially for someone like me. How do I make hydrogen water properly? My dad has chronic pain everywhere and heart disease. Well, Patrick, normally it would have been very, very difficult, borderline impossible. The good news is that in order to do a really good job now, all you got to do, there's a Japanese company that made the best machine in the world that's super effective, super safe in my opinion, of course. And that's from a website called holyhydrogen.com. And you can check that one out. And I think there's a discount code. You can use, well, you can try Uprising 144K if you want. Let's see here. Okay. All right, time to vacuum blend this sucker, guys. I got a lot of videos on that too. But yeah, your poor dad, I mean, it really helped my dad a lot. Not just helped him, I think it changed his life. It got him off all the medications. You know, he didn't need to be taking, you know, any of these medicines. Let's see here. Let's put a tiny bit more water in here. We're about to vacuum this thing. So you're about to see a vacuum blender in action, guys. If you haven't seen one before, let's vacuum the oxygen out of this thing. Make sure that we have enough water though. If I don't have enough water, it just doesn't work right. And then I'm going to show you 2 magic ingredients, in my opinion, are absolutely crucial for good health and mental health. So people dealing with depression, you're going to want to see this. Okay, watch the water level go up. We do not want it to go into the pumps, so I can only have it go up so far. Let's go. Woo, thing's making a mess. Hold on. Need tissue. Because I got water into the pump last time. Okay, let's see. Go. Whoops, there we go. And stop. You can see the water getting real close. So then before I keep running it, I'm gonna hit this a little bit. And watch these Japanese blades in action, because this thing is jam-packed. I don't know another blender that could do this. Of course, if you want to know about this blender, you can find it at a website called void-system.com. All right, let's go. So it made room for us there to suck more oxygen out of there. Wow. Okay. This thing is sucking really hard. and it's at a good level. The pressure is reaching, it's at a 17 now. All I needed was a 16, but it's at a 17. And I think we're getting close. I'm waiting for it to reach an 18. There we go. Okay. That's good enough right there. Now we can go ahead and make this smoothie. And I'll answer your questions in more detail, Patrick, if you want to, by the way. All right, let's grab some of these magic ingredients that are super good for mental health and just health in general. Okay, let's run normal. Pretty much done. Wow, today's was interesting. I'm gonna zap it a few times real quick just to make sure. Feels like everything's sometimes there's a carrot in there in a big chunk. I don't want to be doing that. And I like Spirit's comment here because this has happened many times. Someone says, for anybody who thinks this smoothie might taste bad, I've tried it after I found this channel and it tastes fine. I've been making them. I don't even like ginger, beets, celery, and it still tastes fine. I know it's crazy, right? It's so crazy. I like the cacao powder in mine though, because I like chocolate. Yes, chocolate. Well, I like it too. That's why I put it in there. All right, seems good to me, guys. Here's the only problem with the vacuum blender. How do you get this lid off? This thing is on here so tight. First, you got to release the pressure. You'll hear this. There's that. Then I grab a tissue and I put it underneath the pressure valve to keep the valve open. Otherwise, dare I say, it's almost impossible to get it off. Now, I could do it without this towel, but I don't want to cut my finger. It's a little sharp here, so I put a little towel right there where I'm going to leverage my thumb and put my middle finger here, and then I just pull up on the corner. There we go. Was it tricky? A little bit. Is it worth it? Absolutely. Okay, now let's show you these magic ingredients. Everything works synergistically, by the way, when it comes to health. So all these minerals, all these nutrients, everything works with fiber. Fiber is so important and has multiple functions, just like water and just like hydrogen. And so it's really important to get your proper amount of fiber. Here we go. Vitamin D3 with K2. This is one of the secret ingredients to life, guys, by the way, in its ionic form. The research on it's amazing. Really good for mental health, really good for bone health, really good for your immune system. On and on and on and on and on it goes. Vitamin D, in my opinion, is super important. Do you want to load up on too much of it? I'm not a big fan of that, actually. I like to use little by little, get my levels up. Taking too much of it, I mean, if you can handle it, that's fine, but some people actually get a little sick from taking too much. And that goes for a lot of things. Even if you take a multivitamin with too many nutrients, you just pee most of them out. And the fiber and the hydrogen, I load up on hydrogen water before the video. And then when I do this, I absorb my nutrients way better. This is another secret ingredient. You don't have to do this one, but it's a super well-balanced protein, maybe the most well-balanced protein in the world of omega-3s and 6s. Obviously really good protein and lots of good fats and stuff, but so many good minerals and nutrients too. It's almost like a multivitamin in of itself. And guess what? It actually tastes good. And that's the key here. I'm always trying to do things that are simple and that are actually enjoyable. So let's go ahead and taste this sucker, and then I'll answer a few more questions, and then I'll let you guys go, because man, I got a work thing here very soon. Very chocolatey. Wow. That tastes great. I mean, it really does. I mean, who's gonna eat celeries and carrots and beets? Like, people don't eat enough of this stuff. I know, you know, that was the whole trick of trying to get myself to figure out how to eat all this stuff. I can scroll through some of your questions. Let me see here. Give me 1 second, I gotta blow my nose. That tasted really good though. Extremely good. I'll be doing some anti-parasitics later too. I do anti-parasitic cleanses periodically. Just not allowed to talk about it too much these days. And you know why? You know what? For any of you conspiracy theorists out there, Barbara says, thank you, I have to jump off. All right, Barbara, good to see you. You know, for any conspiracy theorists out there, I mean, I'm not saying this is true, but I have my theories. Because I had all sorts of parasite problems. And, well, I say parasite problems. No doctor told me, oh yeah, you got a parasite problem. You know, no doctor said that. But when I cleaned my body from all these parasites, I noticed the difference big time. It was like something had come out of my brain is what it felt like unjacked, you know, like something was plugged into me is what it felt like. But I was always, I don't want to say I was in denial, but I was always like, whatever, you know, there's no parasites in me. I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. I got some water lab reports here too, if you want to see them. I got all sorts of stuff here actually that's important, but when I felt that stuff come out of me, and I have pictures of it too, I got to see it. Shocking, guys, absolutely shocking. Ever since then, sometimes I wonder if humanity is infected by a parasite that's in almost everybody. Definitely people who are high up and powerful in the world, and they're potentially being influenced. You know, the Japanese have a really good museum and research in regards to parasites. And if you want to know what they do to your body, it's really insane. It's actually hard to believe, but there's clear data, clear evidence. They have them in jars, they have pictures of them. They're just nuts, all right? And that they'll fit in our, I say they'll fit in our body, they'll live in our body. One, they rob you of nutrients. I know a lot of people don't want to hear this stuff, but I think it's important. Give me 1 second. You know, if you guys want, people ask about this all the time. I'll show you something I do. I always do my purium powder, my smoothies. You guys seen my videos. Once in a while, this might be good for other people. I don't think I need it a lot, but somebody left a bottle of vitamins. And periodically, if you feel you're not getting enough nutrients or you just want a little more, because if I look at the label and look at the nutrients, I mean, really good levels of vitamin A, C, D, E, K, B1, holy cow, B2, you know, B6, B12, holy cow. I mean, a lot of good stuff. I like this one because it's a whole food multivitamin. I like whole food stuff or stuff that comes from food. Rapid Clip says, hello from Lithuania. Wow, okay, hello there. So I'm not gonna take a bunch of them, but periodically, and I'm trying to finish this up actually since I'm moving, I'll just grab one, you know, just to have a little extra nutrients. But I like to pair it with my food, especially food that has a lot of fiber. Again, fiber is almost like a time release to absorb your nutrients, your minerals, everything really good. Like I said, on my blood work, my doctors were absolutely shocked at my nutrient absorption. They literally just can't believe it. They thought I was doing something secret. They're like, what's the secret? I'm like, smoothies and fiber. They're like, what? I'm not gonna make a smoothie every morning. And I'm like, hey, you asked. I'm telling you right now, that's the next big trend coming up. You're gonna hear it here first. Everybody's gonna start going on about fiber, and they're gonna try to sell you some fiber supplement that you probably don't need, you know, because what you really need is just to make a lot of, you know, get it from your food. It's always best from your food. It's very natural. The body responds good to it, yada, yada, yada. All right, guys, any last questions that you guys have? I have a few more minutes here. Let me see if I read all your comments right. But thanks, my spirit, for that comment. I'm glad you like the smoothie too. I like them too. It's not like I just want to eat. Can you imagine sitting down and eating everything I just put in there? Like eating the ginger and eating carrots and eating this stuff? I mean, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. And yet somehow it tastes good. I don't know. I don't even know how I came up with it anymore. Because I did invent this. I'm sure nobody makes a smoothie like this. I've never seen anybody make anything like it. I don't know if Patrick Hopkins is still in the room. If you are, let me know if I answered your questions. Let's see, My Spirit Divine Center said, how did you find out, oh yeah, the impurities? Did you do your own testing? It's a tricky one. You can, you know, a lot of companies test their own stuff too, like I said, but they don't tell people. I've been able to get access to some of that stuff sometimes, which was, in my opinion, I was very grateful for it, but it's a reason that I don't take or use a lot of other hydrogen products now. And there is a lab that recently contacted me, so they might be doing more work in the future on certain products. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think almost all products have impurities. It's really tough to find the right ones. That's part of the reason I do my channel. Show you guys what I do, share what I've learned, take it from there, take it, leave it, like it, don't like it, you know. But I'm doing this as, I feel like, a service, because I've already done all the work. Why not just share it, the work that I've done? Otherwise, I just did it for myself. Let's see here. Atur says, do you put minerals in the distilled water? If so, what kind? Yes, I do. I already showed you, but I'll grab it again. Let's see here. You don't have to mineralize your distilled water. Just so you know, you get most of your minerals actually from your food, and you really need a lot of fiber to really, really absorb them. But if you want to put some like these, the ones from Trace Minerals, this one removes all the salt. This one has more salt in it if you need more electrolytes, if you're sweating a lot. But that's what I do. Pretty simple stuff. Brian Salamanca said, what inspired the name 144K? Ooh, now we're getting into more of the spiritual part of the conversation. Let me answer that in a second. It's a long answer. As real as it gets, Boxing says, in my opinion, technology and especially pornography is the cause of most depression. Oh, okay. I could give you my opinions, but yeah, okay. If you guys want them, I'll give them. But as far as 144K, so first of all, Uprising. Oh, you said what inspired the 144K name? Yeah, so first it starts with Uprising, right? Because that's the name of the channel, Uprising 144K. Here, hold on, let me take another sip. So Uprising has to do with the process of ascension. Water, when it uprises, that's what it's doing through the distillation process. And it purifies the water with no filter, mind you, okay? Just through the process of ascension. So that's first. And then also when you die, when anybody dies, the body just will fall to the ground. So rising up or uprising, this process of coming back to life, bringing the body back to life from the sickness, from the depression, from all the sad, terrible things, and rising up out of all that, you know, rising up from amongst the dead. And then the 144K was because, if you guys have ever heard of ancient scriptural numbers, like the 12 tribes of 12,000, that equals 144,000. The ones who were dressed in white. White to me was symbolic of light, you know, the light and purity, and, you know, and that's the whole part of the whole name. So uprising of the 144,000. one of these days, I mean, I have a lot of knowledge about health, but the truth is, I have even more knowledge about another subject that I haven't really talked a lot about. I might be talking about it on the new channel when I go to Japan. So I might be touching more on that later if it interests people. Give me a second, I'm gonna grab more smoothie here. This stuff came out good today. Really good. Definitely hitting the spot. And you know, I'll tell you one thing that's really great about these smoothies. They feel very hydrating. So first I hydrate with the cleanest water there is, with hydrogen in it, which is the cleanest, proper levels of hydrogen, so it's actually effective and safe for long-term usage, rather than it being just a little gimmick that you do once in a while and use a little cheap little bottle, whatever. And then I load up on this smoothie, and I'm telling you, one of the keys to life is hydration. Your body doesn't work right unless it's properly hydrated. It's one of the reasons that when you go into a hospital, they'll put an IV in you. As real as it gets, boxing, oh, they removed their message. Okay, I guess we'll get that later. Brian Salamanca says, health is spiritual too. Absolutely, Brian. That's exactly, in my opinion, correct. Thanks for all the thumbs up, by the way. I just noticed you guys gave some. But absolutely, it is very much connected. The truth is, I have actually more knowledge on the spiritual side of things than even the health side. And I do know, obviously, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I have learned a lot about health. I clearly found my way out of hell, and me being super sick. And for a lot of people who don't know, I mean, I'm not even supposed to technically be here. So I wasn't even supposed to make it. And hey, I'm here. And not only am I here, you should see some of the tests they did on me. I mean, doctors saying that they can't believe what my blood looks like. I test in the 1%, if not less than 1% as far as healthy people in America. That's crazy. I'm less than 1%. Like, there's less than 1% of me out there as far as health. That's nuts. And the amount of nutritional deficiencies in America, the number of people who don't even get enough fiber. Have I talked to you guys about that number? The amount of people who get the minimum required amount of fiber is about 3%. 3% of people just get the minimum. That means the 97%. I mean, everybody out there is either chronically dehydrated, not having good bowel movements, totally toxic. It's really kind of sad, really. And then they wonder why they're depressed. Okay, Patrick says, thank you so much for all that you do. You are helping so many people. That's very kind of you. I mean, I appreciate it. I don't know how many people I'm really helping. I mean, there have been a lot of people throughout the years. I think what happens is, this should be understood. Somebody made this comment to me, actually, I think it was yesterday. The standard that I hold myself to is very different than I think most people, the way they hold their standards up. So sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, and somebody else might say, dude, you're actually doing a lot. You know what I mean? So, but thank you for the kind comments. I really do appreciate that. Patrick Hopkins says, thinking of going on the carnivore diet. Oh boy. With my dad. Your thoughts? Dad also has heart disease, oh boy, and diabetic, type 1. I'm type 1 diabetic as well. Geez, since 16 months ago? Oh my goodness. Okay, look, Patrick, I don't give any medical advice, but I will tell you that I just had somebody very close to me. I've actually had a lot of people close to me recently pass, and it's been really sad, and it's been just, since 16 months old. I gotcha. Give me a second. Let me sip on this again. This particular person, and there's been a lot of them lately. I just had someone close to me die yesterday too, actually, which was very sad. But there's been so many. I was gonna actually make a video about it because I think I've had like 9 people now in the last 3 months. Some of them have just been freak accidents. It's been very strange. But what I can tell you is this. The one that just recently died from being on the carnivore diet. He had almost exactly what you're talking about. When he first went on it, he did lose weight. If your goal is to lose weight, will the carnivore diet help you lose weight? Yes. Do you want to do it for a week or two? I mean, knock yourself out, I guess. Would I do it? I know I wouldn't, because if you were to do, just living a lifestyle, like I've shown the hydrogen water. I'll tell you one thing. If you're gonna do it, actually, this would be what I would do. I would definitely get the cleanest water. You're definitely gonna want to be hydrated while doing that because of the lack of electrolytes from the meat. You know, basically, you're not gonna get really electrolytes. You're not gonna really be getting fiber. Anyway, the person that I knew, you know, died, but they didn't die immediately. They went on the carnivore diet. They lost weight. They were diabetic and all the stuff you're talking about, and everything seemed really great. And then he went back to his life and of course quickly gained the weight back. What you really need is a lifestyle change. You can't just jump on carnivore because that's what he did. And then he jumped back on carnivore and he just stayed on it. And he was like that for like a year and a half, I think, 2 years. And it caused him to have a heart attack. You do not want to be eating nothing but meat, in my opinion. A lot of people will disagree with me on this, but let me just tell you this. In my personal opinion, life is about balance, okay? When I say it's about balance, it doesn't mean that you should only eat vegetables. It doesn't mean that you should only eat meat. It doesn't mean that you should only eat fruit. It doesn't mean that you should only eat one food group. I think that is completely preposterous and, dare I say, lunacy. And seeing the people who, obviously somebody recently dying from something like that, really shocked me. I didn't think that he would die from it. I didn't think he could cause a heart attack. But if you're having issues with electrolytes, if you're not getting a well-balanced diet, I don't know. I mean, if you want to do it short-term, that's on you, my brother. But I wouldn't do it personally. I would just live the right way and have a well-balanced diet and just back off the stuff that you know is bad for you. You know, whether it's soda pop. Like I said, you know what I've seen do dramatic changes? I should give you this example. I don't like to give this example, but I'm just going to do it. I'll tell you why I don't like to say it either. There's somebody that I personally knew. I'm not even going to tell you their name or anything. I'm just going to tell you there's somebody that I personally knew who didn't want to change their lifestyle. They did have blood pressure issues, cholesterol issues. They had inflammation, you know, arthritis. They had a lot of different issues. Borderline diabetic, the whole bit. The only thing they did was get on super clean water and the hydrogen. And that's it. Almost no changes to their normal lifestyle, pretty much. And if you're doing some things that you could change, like just stopping soda pop, then those would be a benefit. And then all those issues actually end up going away. And hydrogen it helps with your metabolism. So also losing weight and stuff like that. So I don't know. Reading the next question. We can go back to it, Patrick. A1 says, I got past stage 4 colorectal cancer with a tumor bigger than a baseball attached to my sacrum bone, which after radiation and chemo, they removed in a surgery, then more chemo. Geez, I developed connective tissue disease from all the chemotherapy or chemicals messing with my autoimmune system. Holy cow. I hope that you were on if you would have been on hydrogen during this process, changes everything. I could give you numerous examples of stuff I've seen. You should watch my video number 8, how much hydrogen protects you from chemotherapy and whatnot. And then it says autoimmune system, they said I should be here, only 3% survive from my stage and amount of chemo I received. A1, wow. You've been through hell. Thoughts on CBD? It depends on what you're using it for. In my opinion, is it necessary for health? No. I don't want to say it's a little gimmicky. I know it has some benefits for some people. I've tried it. Did it change my life? No. When I was really sick, I also did the Rick Simpson oil thing. It didn't work. Somebody else I know did it too. It didn't work. And so all the stuff that you see on the internet isn't always a reality. And that's what's really frustrating, because people don't give you the real truth. That was part of the reason I tried to make this channel, because I tried so many things and so much stuff really didn't work. A1 says, chemo is the worst thing ever. It was in 2016 and you were not on YouTube. LOL. Oh yeah. Well, actually, I think I was. But live or lived info, I know you're correct. IB done some of the same research you have. Yeah. I understand in 2016, the best hydrogen machine in the world didn't even exist yet. So I do understand, and I've been using other equipment that really didn't work as good. Once the new equipment came out, that was actually what made my heart condition go away. And I was like, whoa, this stuff like works. It's crazy. It's like hard to believe that it even exists and that nobody knows about it. That's the crazy part. Nobody actually really knows much about this. Well, in Japan they do. It is the #1 machine in all of Japan. So the Japanese know, but the Japanese are always ahead of everybody. Patrick Hopkins says, is there somewhere I can personally message and speak with you? I'd love to speak with you about a lot more topics regarding health. Well, I mean, I am a busy guy, but you can email me if you want. You can email me at uprising144k@gmail.com. Include a phone number. I'll do my best to call. I actually have I forgot, I got a work thing coming up real soon. So let's see, any last questions? By the way, A1, I'm really sorry to hear that you went through all that chemo stuff. You made it, you're here. Though probably life is tough, because life is always tough when your body's not cooperating. Believe me, I know from experience, so I have a great deal of compassion for that. Hence the reason I made this channel, actually, and hoping that this information will help people out there. I'm telling you guys, it's the easiest thing I've ever seen for health. Cleaning your water, and of course, hydrogen is just like this secret that nobody really knew about. And of course, the equipment being made properly. Thank God, really, for the guy who created the machine from the holyhydrogen.com website. I mean, really, one of these days, I haven't even met the guy. One of these days I want to meet him. I might have the opportunity to meet him if I go to Japan, you know, if and when I do go to Japan, because I am going. And we'll see what happens. I feel like almost they should make a story about this guy. Like they should make a movie or a documentary. His story is remarkable. His poor daughter too. I mean, anyway, this world is filled with so many sad things. I hate to say that, but it is the truth. One of these days I hope we overcome all that. A1 says, love the info, bro. You're doing what God wants you to do, speaking the truth about health, and I'm very blessed to be here. I share all I can with as many as I can, but no YouTube or social media. Yeah, I understand. I'm actually not believe it or not, you know, for people who know this or not, I'm not really like a big social media. People might think like, oh, you're a YouTuber, you have a ton of videos. I just put my phone up and hit record to share the knowledge, share the information. I'm actually not very techy. I don't really know how to do a lot of this stuff, but I definitely, when my heart's in something, I tend to dig deeper than anybody I know. And I had to do that when it came to health because my life was on the line. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. So I kind of got pushed between a rock and a hard place, as they say. So, but thank you for being here, A1. We all appreciate you, and I'm glad that you made it. And I hope the time that you do have is going to be spent wisely. And I hope you do good things, you know, for yourself, for others, and just live a really good life for the time you have. And that goes for everybody, really. But when you've been faced with death, you kind of begin to realize the real important things in life, because all the things we deem important are the things you can't take. You can't take money with you, you can't take cars with you, you can't take fancy, I don't know, houses and clothes or any of this stuff. So the question really begins to be, and this gets more into philosophy, or people might even call it religion or spirituality. And Jamila says, thank you very much. Oh, you're welcome. And I'll just say, guys, those are important questions to ask yourself, and I'll probably go into it more on another channel rather than this one. But yeah, you're definitely going to want to live the best life you can live by your spirit, you know, rather than just living for, as they call, the flesh. So let's see, Leah Pramstalher says, health is the basis for life. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, if you really look at spirituality, probably the #1 name, or one of the biggest names, is like Jesus, right? What was Jesus doing? He was going around preaching the truth, but he was also going around healing people. It seems that health and spirituality do bind together. It's very much, that's why when people think like, oh, it doesn't matter what I eat, it doesn't matter what I do to this temple, you know, the temple of God, supposedly, it doesn't matter if I stuff Twinkies down my face and drink Coca-Cola. I'm thinking, yeah, it kind of does matter. And like I was talking about parasites earlier, you got to clear this stuff out. There's a really interesting book that I'm fascinated by, The Essene Gospel of Peace. And there's stories in here about Jesus that you've never heard. And he talks about parasites, actually. He was pulling these parasites out of people in order to be able to help them heal. So pretty wild stuff that in this book that was super old. This comes from the Dead Sea Scrolls and whatnot, so it's wild. Leah says, yes, it has been my experience too. So there you go. All right, guys, any last questions before I let you go? Thanks for all the thumbs up. Thanks for all the support. It helps the algorithm. It's free, you know, to help out. A1 says, I found your channel by happenstance. I guess it was meant to be. Wow. To find your info, thank you very much. I will follow and subscribe to the new channel also. Well, thank you. Congrats on moving to Japan. Thank you very much. Leah says, and I hope to see you guys there, you know, for the few people who want to join there. Remember, it's not going to be a health channel. I'll still do this one about health, but for people who want to get into more spiritual topics, you know, spiritual, understanding yourself, psychology, cultures of Japan, food, you know, other things. And there's going to be some other healing stuff too, but that's going to be on this channel, which is about health. Leah says, sensitivity to how different aspects of life affect you. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks again for all the thumbs up. Oh, Brian says, I hope humanity overcomes these issues as well, but in the manner that you are doing it, not fusing or combining with technology. I don't know. Well, I guess I won't go into that right now. Leah says, what's your other channel called? I don't think you'll find it right now. I'll make a video where I release the link, but the name of the channel is called Happy Japan. It's already been made. Kind of doubt you'll find it. So just stay tuned and I'll share the links soon. Spirit Tail or Tall says, thank you for today's live. You're very welcome, guys. A1 says, Japan is one of my top 3 if I moved out of the USA to live. There you go. You're about to watch me do it, guys, so it'll be fun. GC118 says, thank you so much, Greg, Grace, and to all you guys also. And thank you so much. And Leah says, thank you. You're very welcome, guys. Thanks for joining. I don't see any other questions. Thanks for all the positive comments and everything, guys. And I hope this information sincerely is helping you all out there. Patrick Hopkins says, thank you so much. You're very welcome. And I'll see you guys on the next one, okay? See you soon. Stay tuned.